Yeah, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, this is our ARTIMATION project, and we are from MDH. We are coordinating this project, Mälardalen University student, and we have 4 partners in this project. One from France, ENEC, and 2 partners from Italy. One is University of Sapienza and DIP. Yeah, the project is about transparent artificial intelligence and automation to air traffic management system. And the aim is actually to develop transparency and explainability using AI for AI application in ATM domain. And for this, the idea is to investigate the applicability of transparent and explainable AI in ATM domain. And for doing so, how we can integrate this explanation to the AI and machine learning models. So that means using post-hoc interpreting and understanding how these models work for making decision for ATM domains. Also, to design and develop this explainability as a proof of concept, and that includes visualization, explanation, and generalization with adaptability with a longer period of time. That means not just create a model for once, but continuously improve this model over the time with datasets or new information. And finally, user acceptability. That means user-centric explanation for ATM domain. So not just give explanation, but also take into account the user or ATM operators information or inputs in the model for better in the long run. If we look at the objectives of this project, so as I mentioned, one is obviously the transparency and explainability that we are aiming for AI models that will include data-driven storytelling, immersive analytics, and visualization. And we are focusing on predicting air traffic, or some optimization, traffic flows, and maybe conflict resolution. And as also what I mentioned, like we are focusing on human-centric XAI. And for this, we have done some extensive review, so which I will discuss in the next part of the presentation when we talk about the outcomes of the project. And also like new generalized and optimized AI method. Not only have to explain the behavior of the models, but also to achieve better prediction and also optimization of traffic flows. And here we are focusing on integrating lifelong machine learning and causality into the AI models, so that explanation can be derived from causal reasoning as well. And finally, based on the outcomes or the findings of these projects, we want to provide user guidelines for the development of AI algorithms in the ATM domain. So if I look into we look into methodologies, so currently most of the AI methods are black box, so there is no explanation at all. So, and that we can indicate as level 0. So we want to achieve different level of explainability with these projects. So one can be level 1, where we actually just, for example, if we think about prediction, so there may be require little information or sometimes no prediction but better accuracy. So that is one kind of explainability or level 1 explainability that we can achieve. And further, we can also go into level 2 or level 3, where we will give more explanation how ATM operators should decide based on prediction, or what kind of information is actually using to predict or making a decision. That can be using visualization technique or some other machine learning techniques as well. And for the level 3, we can not only give full explanation, but also take into account the information from the operator and get feed into the model and improve the models and explanation for the future. So the methodology we are focusing is actually multimodal machine learning with multivariate data analytics and AI model development, which comprised of different components that represent necessary information processing that requires summarizing the multivariate and heterogeneous data, considering multi-modal activities or multimodalities. Translation is the relationship between the multimodal data that are coming from different. Alignment is the purpose of finding the relationship between the problem and the solution. So what are the state that it is taking, or what are the decision is making? So that the relationship between decision and the data that we are considering. And for this, we can actually provide different kind of fusion. That means data, either data level fusion or maybe decision level fusion. And since we are considering multimodal approach, so there may be more than one algorithm, machine learning algorithm, or maybe more than one modalities. So how to learn from one modalities to another, or how to use this transfer learning so that we don't just make our decision on one approach, but we can integrate more than one. So for this, as I mentioned, so the core idea is to, for the explanation or transparency, use visualization technique. So we are focusing on different visualization techniques in this project. And also data-driven storytelling. That can be like 3D map or interactive visualization. And finally, we also thinking of imposing immersive analytics. So that is advanced virtual reality, mixed reality, or augmented reality. So now, if we look into how we actually, as a people or as a human, make decision or make explanation, and how AI or machine learning model can explanation, this chart gives a good idea about that. So the red arrows indicates the theory of how human make reasonings and how we can integrate this as a algorithmic approach in the explanation explainable AI. And the gray lines actually the interaction between these different reasoning process. So for example, if we look in like explanation, so we use some counterfactual questions or counter-intuitive questions, that from that we derive some explanation and how to then use this idea. So one idea may be use a structural causal model that actually represents this idea and use it in an algorithmic way in the machine learning model. So these are some examples of that. And finally, we are focusing on iterative and cyclic approach. That means we have phase one in work package 3, where we are defining the definition and specification for this project, where we did some literature review and some workshops to define our goal and what problem we need to solve within this project. And in phase 2, this outcome of the workshop and literature review, we are developing machine learning models in WP4 and WP5, where we are focusing on multivariate data analytics, data-driven AI model, lifelong machine learning and causality, etc. And in phase 3, we will validate and test our models in 2 phases. One is the validation of the algorithms that will be done by the developers, and another is the user-centric test, where we will test our models, including the professional echoes, and we will run several simulation studies where maybe, for example, conflict resolution can be one example, where echoes will run in the simulation, where we will use our developed model to the explanation, how they perceive this explanation. And this is the work package and organization of the project. So MDH is the coordinator, and we have in middle some external executive board, your role, and then different work packages are leading by different partners in this project. So I think this is in short what I have for that project description. And I think I'm in time.